All right, let's jump right into it. Matt Eberflus, head coach of the Chicago Bears, has been fired. Around 9 a.m. this morning, he did a press conference via Zoom call, lasted about 9 to 10 minutes, and then they let him go about a couple hours later. Now, why they still let him do that press conference, who knows? That's kind of what the Bears do. Even when they're trying to make good decisions and do things the right way, they still kind of fumble it a little bit. But so long, Matt, it's been a fun 3 years of watching you constantly create new ways to invent losing streaks. You can't blame the previous quarterback for this. You can no longer blame defensive miscues. You can't blame offensive coordinators. This one's all on you. Your time has finally come and you're gone. And this was a coach who press conference after press conference would not take accountability, except for that one time when everything was his fault a couple games ago. The Bears have now lost 6 in a row. And despite better offensive playing, despite your quarterback not giving up, despite your defense still trying to fight, and maybe not necessarily getting stops, but still not giving up a ton of points, you have lost again. You have lost again, and there was no way you could keep this man and coach for the rest of the year. It just would have been loss after loss. You probably would have had the players completely revolt. At least now you'll get something of a calm going on. We can reset a little bit. Thomas Brown will now take up interim head coaching duties while also being the new offensive coordinator, remaining the new offensive coordinator. But it's yet to be determined if he'll keep calling plays or if he'll pass that on to the quarterback's coach. So we shall see. Personally, the offense has gotten better the last couple of weeks, but they're still scoring late. It's still later in games in the second half, once defense have kind of cooled off a little bit, that they're deciding to put up actual points. Still only scoring about 22 points a game, roughly something like that. They actually have a positive point differential despite being on a 6-game lose streak, mainly in part because they had the luxury of blowing out Carolina and blowing out Jacksonville, so with their good defense, it's kind of evened out a little bit. But Flus needed to go. He was never the right pick for this team. He was never the right hire for this team. As cruel as it may sound, this is a guy who's in his third season now. He's made millions of dollars, and we watched him fail and fumble and stumble plenty of times. We still don't know why Alan Williams, his former defensive coordinator, and the former running backs coach were fired. We know it was for personal social issues and nothing on the football field, but we don't know anything more than that. Excuse me. The Bears have kept that in-house. This is a man who had Luke Getsy fired. Luke Getsy was terrible. Shane Waldron was hired and fired. And according to Seattle from Pete Carroll himself, Shane Waldron wasn't exactly the best offensive coordinator. And now we're on Thomas Brown, who has the offense at least looking competent, but now he even has more responsibilities. You got a new quarterback. I was pro Justin Fields. I still am. I know he's on the bench now. You can call him a bench quarterback or whatever, a backup, but he will be a starter. He'll go somewhere else if he has to. I was a pro Justin Fields guy. I hated how Eberflus was allowed to just throw Fields under the bus last year and talk about drafting a quarterback who will win and who will make plays in the fourth quarter and all of that, as if Fields wasn't carrying the team and doing the best he can with the crap that he had. If Fields had this roster, it'd be a good team. But you kept Flus, and all he has done is try to ruin Caleb. Gave him a bad offensive coordinator. Now he's doing bad late game managements, late half managements. He put so much on Caleb Williams' shoulders in the beginning to where he was basically allowing Caleb to run the offense. They didn't have scripted plays in the beginning. It was just such a mess. And all of this does fall at the feet of the head coach. Caleb is a rookie. This is his 12th game. He shouldn't be the one thinking, oh, I need to call a timeout. Your head coach, who is watching the field, who is watching everything like we have, who has a staff right next to him, not to mention players and even the people in the stands who are all like, call a timeout. He should have been the one to call a timeout. I watched that game. I was like, wait, what? I was blown away in disbelief, speechless, watching what transpired. And he is gone, and I'm glad he is gone. I hope the Bears can move forward and hire a veteran, competent head coach. I know Ben Johnson is the hot hand, and he's a hot commodity, and everybody wants to hire him. And I hope that he does become a successful head coach. But I would love the Bears to get a proven veteran head coach. It's just me personally, someone who has shown he can handle a locker room and he knows how to build a proper staff. Because look, even if Thomas Brown is good, everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to be wiped away from the stink of Eberflus. And it is a difference between doing this for 5 games versus having actual experience. I don't want Thomas Brown to just have everything dumped on him and then just keep trying to build, and then he turns out to be a bad head coach. Get Mike Vrabel, for example. Somebody like him. Get somebody who is proven, who can do it, and who has done it well, and keep building. You have the way that they scored on Detroit I know I just mentioned the defense letting up a little bit, but the way that they moved down the field and they scored so fast, that first touchdown against Detroit in the third quarter, I mean, this team is really talented still. This team offensively is really talented. Defense is still pretty good as well. I mean, on average, you're only giving up, like 23 points a game, something like that. They give up a lot more yards, but they get stops. And they keep you in the game. They bend, but they don't break. This is a really good roster. And I hate to see it wasted and fumbled by somebody who doesn't know how to do the job, who has to learn how to do the job on the go. My confidence in Ryan Poles has never been that high. I believe that, yes, he did draft Caleb Williams, but let's be honest, Jaden Daniels looks good. Bo Nix looks serviceable. People say even Drake May might be good. So it's not like you could have picked it's not like you were going to just completely pick the wrong guy. So you did draft a new quarterback, but you also passed up on C.J. Stroud. He looks good. You drafted Velus Jones. He got cut. You signed the right guard, Nate Davis, who he had to get released. You kept signing backup centers and backup other guards who either can't play or stay injured or something. The offensive line is still a joke, but we've known that all along. All that happened was the Bears organization was allowed to blame one man for that. Now that man's gone. He's been gone all season. So you can't blame the quarterback, and you definitely can't blame Caleb. You're not going to blame Caleb. You're not going to keep getting away with trying to blame DJ Moore, saying that he doesn't have chemistry with Caleb, or Keenan Allen is just phoning it in. No. It's not the players. It's been the head coach. It's always been the head coach, and now he's finally gone. Hopefully the Bears can move forward in a better, stronger direction. Hopefully the players can just take a breath. I don't think they were informed. I don't know if they were. It'll come out whether they were told ahead of time or whether they found out like the way everybody else did. The way it seems, it wouldn't surprise me if they just found out the same way that I did, just getting the ESPN update or watching Twitter, and then boom, heard he was fired. But they'll go in a new direction. And we show so much mercy to coaches for whatever reason. I don't get that, but we're so hard on the players. Yes, the players have to execute, but if you're not being put in a good position to succeed, if you're not being set up properly, you are already at a disadvantage. And that's what it's been like ever since Eberflus has had the job. And say what you want about Mark Trestman and a few other ones, some who were really bad before my time. Flus is the first one to be gone during the season. Bears don't do that, but they had to this time because he was just that bad. And he wasn't going to get any better. He wasn't going to learn. He didn't figure anything out. He keeps making the same mistakes. I mean, even the way that they handled halftime wasn't exactly good, and it looked like there was some clock management issues then. He's not good at his job. He never was. But best of luck to you, Flus. Hopefully the Bears make better, smarter decisions. If Poles isn't the one to get the job done, if Poles can't bring in a good hire, then get rid of Poles too. I'm actually okay with cleaning house, getting rid of all the coaching staff, getting rid of the general manager and Ian Cunningham, and just starting over. Let Kevin Warren completely put his identity on there and build upon Caleb Williams and the staff and the players that we have now. But we'll see. I hope you guys are having a good day. Stay blessed. Go Bears. We'll see what happens.